The only reason that motherfucker is even good in the league is because he's so fucking coddled by the officiating crews. Their whole offense is coddled by the officiating crews. They're a bunch of fucking frauds. But you want to know what? Now that we have Jackson Dart, he seems like he might potentially be a darling of the NFL because people seem to fucking love the kid. So maybe we'll start to have some of those calls go our way. How about that?
Here we go.
Welcome back, Giants fans. Preseason is in the books, and all we're looking forward to now is Washington. And I'm not going to go over a lot of the preseason because I haven't made videos on each individual game, and I feel like we all kind of know what we have in this team at this point. Now it's on to Washington, a team that I don't necessarily believe. I felt like we should have beat them twice last year. We should have beat them twice last year. The only reason why we didn't, it was because this team was ran by a gimpy Daniel Jones. In that first game, we had no kicker. That's the only reason why we lost that first game against Washington. I don't believe them. When they actually went up against a competent team like the fucking Eagles, which kills me to even say that, they got their asses beat in the NFC Championship game. But I will say this. You see this poster behind me right here? It says 4-time Super Bowl champion. 4-time. The New York Giants have fucking put belt to ass 4 freaking times in the Super Bowl. Now I'm going to make a wild prediction now, and I'm going to say within the next 5 years, I'm going to have to update that banner. 5 for 5. I believe Jackson Dart, and I feel like no matter what I say about the kid, and even saying kid, even at my age, just feels wrong. But what I have to say about the kid is that he's special. When you're watching him play, the limited snaps that we were able to watch him during the preseason, he stood out immediately. And I feel like a lot of Giants fans recently, because we've been with Daniel Jones for so long, because even before Daniel Jones, we had Eli Manning, who was kind of more towards the tail end of his career. Jackson Dart is special. The way he maneuvers the pocket, the way he scans or is able to process and make quick decisions, the way that you saw him point to his receiver, go down, kind of improvise, and meanwhile drifting the defense to one side of the field while he freaking works magic on the other side by hitting Gunnar Olszewski for a freaking 40 or 50 yard gain. I feel like Jackson Dart is going to lead us to a Super Bowl within the next 5 years. And I don't even think that's crazy to say. There's some players that do look phenomenal in preseason, and then they're not able to back it up in the regular season. I feel like from the limited sample size that we were able to see of Jackson Dart, again, he's special. His pocket manipulation, he's able to sense pressure, the way he's able to contort his arm to make crazy angles, like that screen pass to Theo Johnson, I believe in the Jets game. I could go on and on, but I feel like the Giants are in good hands by drafting Jackson Dart. Now the coaching staff and our general manager are still on my shit list. I've made videos all of last year saying how I wanted them to be fired, how I did not want them to go get a rookie quarterback and risk his potential, because if we go into next season, things don't go well, they get fired, he gets our new rookie quarterback, or then second year quarterback gets paired up with someone who probably didn't choose, or obviously didn't choose them. So what's their future going to be? It's going to be in limbo. I feel like a good quarterback can make a head coach, offensive coordinator look better than they actually are. And I feel like that's kind of what Jackson Dart, I'm going to give, first and foremost, I'm going to give the current regime props for the draft that they had and the progression that these players are showing thus far throughout the preseason. What I'm not going to get, but what I'm really going to judge them on is how they operate in season. It's easy, like going back to 2022 when you saw, Brian Dable dancing, with the guys in the locker room, after a win. That's easy to do. That's easy when you have a tough defense and Saquon Barkley freaking running you into the playoffs. That's easy. It's hard when you don't have someone like Saquon and you do have a freaking numbskull like Daniel Jones, a fucking energy vampire draining the freaking life force out of this team. It's hard to lead. It's hard to set an example. It's hard to game plan when you have players like that. It's easy if you have someone who like Jackson Dart, who does a lot of the thinking for you on the field, who's able to improvise on the field, and who's able to bridge the gap of those shortcomings just with his intellect and talent alone. So drafting a good quarterback doesn't automatically make you a good head coach. So we're going to see how this season goes and how you react to it when things start not going your way. Because so far in the preseason, we've been blowing out these teams. So it's been easy. Everyone's in a honeymoon phase with Brian Dable. I want him to be the guy because I don't want him to get fired. I don't want to F over Jackson Dart. So I'm not saying this because I'm actively rooting for him to fail. I want him to succeed. I'm just saying I don't believe you yet. Just like I don't believe the Commanders who we're going to be facing here in the next few weeks. I don't believe Brian Dable just yet. I want to believe, like the X-Files poster of the UFO in the background, I want to believe in Brian Dable. I want to believe in Joe Shane. But I just need to see it more consistently. I need to see it with this new set of pieces that we have for the team, and I hope to God that it works. I hope to God that we don't get our dreams crushed going into the season because of bad play calling, because of bad roster construction. Look, we haven't even started the player cutdowns yet. I don't know who the final 53 on the team are going to be. I mean, I have a pretty good idea, but we don't know yet. This team, at this point, looks pretty good. And people will say, how are you going to judge Joe Shane when we have been looking this good in the preseason, or we have all these great players? Well, I'll tell you why I'll judge Joe Shane is because this team, this offense in particular, and the defense, to be honest with you, is only a few injuries away from being bottom of the league. If an Andrew Thomas goes down, if a Malik Neighbors goes down, if a I don't even want to say certain players because I don't have any wood around me to knock on, so I'm just not going to even say it. But that could happen. And things can go fucking bad really quick. And the lack of depth on certain points of this roster is concerning for me. Same thing with the defense. If you take away Dexter Lawrence, I don't care how good this pass rush is if you have the three guys on the outside. The teams are just going to run straight up the middle on us because I don't believe in our linebackers. I don't believe in our corners. I don't believe really Dexter Lawrence and our edge rushers are really the only players on this team that I actually have any sort of faith in. And if Dexter Lawrence goes down, he's literally the Jenga piece that's holding a majority of that defense together. So we'll have to wait and see because like I said, everybody wants to give them their flowers, and they do deserve their flowers because they did make a competent roster. But this roster, I feel like everybody needs to recognize, is top heavy. It only takes a few Jenga pieces being removed for this whole facade to come crushing down. And I don't want that to happen. One thing that has me worried when I'm watching this last preseason game, and there are some players that were standing out. TJ Moore, poor kid, had an excellent preseason, was killing it the last preseason game of the season, and then he gets a non-contact lower leg injury. I'll have to look up and see what his actual injury was, but he had to be carted off. There was an ambulance waiting for him outside of the building to take him to go into surgery. On this field, how many players, not even just Giants players, but Jets players, Aaron Rodgers, Saquon was in Chicago. There's been a plethora of injuries, lower body injuries, non-contact lower extremity injuries in this building, in that stadium, that has been fucking the Giants ever since that shit's been put in there. Nobody likes it. Players don't like it. The fans don't like it. Don't tell me it's too fucking expensive to get real grass on a freaking football field. Do not tell me that. Don't give me that fucking bullshit. Because the health of the players are what matters most, and that's what's going to happen. It's not like we can change it going into this season, but that shit worries me. Not even just on our field, but in other teams' fields where they have this freaking artificial bullshit. Where a Malik Neighbors could get, something, when you have skill players that have to plant and push off and cut. It only takes your cleats to get stuck into that crappy fucking field, and then you turning the wrong way for you to tear it or blow an Achilles or tear an ACL. That's also what I'm worried about. And that goes like hand in hand with the roster construction, even though if you were able to just take pound for pound the talent on this team and say, this is our team, and it'd be like, yeah, that looks awesome. I love it. I feel like we can compete. I feel like we can win a fucking Super Bowl with Jackson Dart behind center. But the field has me worried because we've seen it take talent from the league on a regular basis. Andrew Thomas. I don't know. But I am optimistic about this season. Like, I don't want this to come off as some kind of negative video. I am extremely optimistic for the Giants. I am going to go into the season talking so much shit you're not even going to be able to fucking believe it, because I know going into face Washington, everybody has us as playing the hardest schedule in the NFL. Who's going to go up against this team? Who's going to go up against this team? Now, maybe because we're starting with Russell Wilson, that it might not be all sunshine and rainbows. Maybe going or having him being as limited as he is as a quarterback, not being able to target the middle of the field, not being as mobile as he used to be. Maybe things don't go our way early on. But our early schedule, who do we face? What is it? The Washington, obviously, then the Cowboys, and then the Chiefs? Maybe the Chiefs, I don't know, but I'll just say that's what it is for now. Washington, I already covered them. I don't believe them. They have a nice quarterback. I'm not going to say anything bad about Jaden Daniels. I think he's a solid quarterback. But who else do they have on that team? They still have they're one of their the number one wide receiver in Terry McLaurin. Still hasn't signed still hasn't even been participating in off-season programs. So even getting him up to speed might be something that, even if they do sign something here relatively soon, there's no guarantee he's going to be even playing week 1. Dallas. Who are we scared of on Dallas? They have a nice offensive line, and then they have Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and that is literally it. Well, George Pickens too, but they have literally no run game. They have no run game, and guess what the Giants are good at, motherfuckers? We're good at pass rush. And if we can get them in 3rd and longs, how long is Dak going to be able to stay in the game when he's getting sacked freaking 5 times? When they have to put motherfucking Joe Milton back there behind center. I don't believe the Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys are the worst team in the division this year. Fucking at me on that shit. And then what do we have to, our first home opener against the Chiefs? Who are the Chiefs' weapons? They have Patrick Mahomes. He's a name, sure. And I'll guarantee you this, or I'm not going to guarantee you this, but this is something that fucking pisses me off. Look at Patrick Mahomes. That motherfucker, the only reason that motherfucker is even good in the league is because he's so fucking coddled by the officiating crews. Their whole offense is coddled by the officiating crews. They're a bunch of fucking frauds. But you want to know what? Now that we have Jackson Dart, he seems like he might potentially be a darling of the NFL because people seem to fucking love the kid. So maybe we'll start to have some of those calls go our way. How about that? They're skill position players. Aside from the quarterback, I'm not saying anything negative about Patrick Mahomes. It's just the reality of the situation. He has some fucking he's fucking favored by the league. That's like disputable. But they have a tight end who's old enough to get fucking Social Security. They just traded away one of their wide receivers to the Eagles. Your other number one wide receiver is busy running away from fucking accidents on the freeway. I don't believe you. I do not believe you. Fucking at me with that shit. Anyway, this video is already going too long. It's fucking 15 minutes. But I'll leave you with this, Giants fans. I am so excited for this season. I am so excited to watch the Giants put fucking, like fucking Abdul Carter said after the Jets game, put fucking belt to ass on all these teams that the NFL is saying are so freaking better than us. How the Giants are, well, we might win like 1 or 2 games. Fuck you. Fuck you. The Giants are going to go on a fucking run this season. Might even win a Super Bowl. Definitely within the next 5 years, I'm going to have to update that banner. Injuries aside, I will have to update that banner with Jackson Dart behind center. Anyway, I'm Deception. I talk about the New York Football Giants. If you guys like this video, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, or let me know how fucking right I am. How right I am. Because I know I'm right. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.